The moon, Mars, mutants, alien children, galactic space journeys, Hindu gods. All this and more await me in Rocket Summer. Hello, welcome to my channel. Another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and for the second year in a row, I will be a co-host for the fabulous Rocket Summer. Rocket Summer is an event created by Michael K. Vaughan, because as Michael K. Vaughan said, people are not reading enough classic science fiction. So he decided to start up this event. He invited some co-hosts. I will list all the co-hosts in the description of this video. I have a list now, but I don't think it will be complete. So get the complete list in my description. So everyone kind of knows what classic science fiction is, but there has to be a cutoff, something that edges into the modern age, which in science fiction terms is known as the New Wave. And the New Wave happened sometime in the 60s. Not exactly sure when. Not all 60s science fiction is New Wave. Some of it is classic. But that's where the cutoff will be. And for Rocket Summer, it's going to be divided up into 4 weeks. Now, if you want to participate, you do not have to follow the weeks or these prompts or anything else like that. Just pick up a short story of classic science fiction or a novel of classic science fiction and read it. That's really all you have to do to participate in Rocket Summer. But some of us are going to go for the prompts to get the whole effect. And as I said, it will be divided up into 4 weeks. Week 1 is science fiction up through the 1930s. So anything published from the beginning of writing up to 1939 can be counted for week 1. Now, obviously, the earliest science fiction is probably Frankenstein. There are some ancient works that sort of qualify. You can be the judge for that. Week 2 is the 1940s. So anything from 1940 to 1949. Week 3 is the 1950s. And then we'll end in the 1960s, where you get to decide if it's classic science fiction or not, or even if it's not classic science fiction and it's New Wave, you can go ahead and read it anyway. So that will be the crux of Rocket Summer. I am going to be participating. I am again a co-host, and I'm going to be doing this a little differently. I'm not going to be following the weeks 100% because I need to shuffle up the works a bit. And for me, I am going to tackle this event at 3 angles. One angle will be the short story. A second angle will be an audiobook. And the third angle will either be a digital book or a print book. So it is my goal, for the most part, to read a short story, a book, and listen to an audiobook in all the 4-week categories. There's going to be one little exception. So what books do I intend to read? For up to the 30s, on the short story, I am going to be reading The Revolt of the Pedestrians by David H. Keller, originally published in 1929. I first encountered this story when I was a freshman at college. I took a class in science fiction. And essentially, this is a short story set in the future where most of humanity drives around in cars their entire life. You don't get out of your car at all. But there are some people who reject cars. They are known as pedestrians. I am really looking forward to rereading this short story after a very long time. As I said, it was the middle or early 80s when I first read this. For my audiobook, I'm going to pick up The First Man in the Moon by H.G. Wells, originally published in 1901. I have read a lot of other Wells. I have read The Time Machine, The War of the Worlds, The Island of Dr. Moreau, and The Invisible Man. but I have not read First Men in the Moon. It's going to be a new experience to me. So, as I read it on the internet, the novel tells the story of a journey to the moon undertaken by two protagonists, a businessman and an eccentric scientist. They discover that the moon is inhabited by sophisticated extraterrestrial civilization of insect-like creatures. I do not have a physical or digital book to read for this time period. I'm probably going to sneak in a book from one of the other weeks to make up for it. For the 1940s, I have two short stories. Microcosmic God by Theodore Sturgeon, originally published in 1941. In one of my previous videos, a commenter left a note that Microcosmic God was his favorite short story, or one of his favorite short stories of all time. And I decided, why not read this now and check it out? The second short story is another reread, The Brooklyn Project by Philip Klass, originally published in 1948. This is a time travel short story with a bit of a shocker ending. I do remember the shocker, and I decided, let's revisit this short story. For my audiobook, I will listen to Slans by A.E. van Vogt, originally published in 1941. I believe I have read one or maybe two short stories from this author before, but I've never picked up this classic novel. Slans are evolved human mutants. They have the psychic abilities to read minds and are super intelligent. They possess near limitless stamina, superior strength, and speed. However, a human dictator leads a campaign to exterminate the Slans. On my Kindle, I will read Triplanetary by E. Doc Smith, originally published in 1948. It is the first in the Lensman series, and I have never read anything by this classic author before. The novel takes the readers on an epic space journey through space and time. The story follows a group of individuals as they navigate the intricate web of political intrigue and interstellar warfare that threatens the future of their universe. Now, this is a very long series, and I got it on Kindle the other day for only 99 cents. Sounds like a bargain. For the 1950s, my short story will be The Sentinel by Arthur C. Clarke, originally published in 1951. I have read this story numerous times before, but I wanted to revisit it. It is the short story that was the original basis for the movie 2001. For my audiobook, I will be listening to The Midwich Cuckoos by John Wyndham, originally published in 1957. Yes, I did say audiobook, and I am holding up a physical paperback. That is because Audible offers the audiobook version of this novel for free if you are a member, and I decided, let's just listen to the audiobook. This will be a reread from me. I don't remember a whole lot of the details. The basic plot line is well known to me, that in a town somewhere in England, one night all the women wake up, and they're all pregnant. And who impregnated them? I will be rereading The Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury, originally published in 1950. I first read this book when I was a wee lad of 14 or 15, and it's been that many years since I picked it up. So it's about time to revisit this book. Rocket Summer is also the first story, the first chapter of this book, which gives the name to this event. I will also be reading Men, Machines, and Martians by Eric Frank Russell, originally published in 1958. Russell is a British science fiction author. I have read one or maybe two of his other stories, but I picked up this book one day at a used bookstore for 75 cents. One of those deals you say, maybe I'll read it, maybe I won't. And I decided it's about time to start reading some of these long shot books. And then this one, the people of the solar system have broken the speed of light barrier, and exploration ships are going out in all directions. This is a set of linked stories that describes a part of the epic voyage of the Marathon, seeking new worlds for humanity to spread into. For the 1960s, I'm going to read a novella, Dragonrider by McCaffrey, originally published in 1968. Yes, it was a novella before it became a novel. I have read the novel version of this, maybe once, maybe twice, or I think I read the novel once and listened to the audiobook once. But I have never read the original novella. So let me get to that. For my audiobook, I will be listening to Lord of Light by Roger Zelazny, originally published in 1967. Yes, again, I am holding up a paperback copy, but we'll be listening to the audiobook because once again, Audible offers Lord of Light for free if you are a member. Earth is long since dead. On a colony planet, a band of men has gained control of technology, made themselves immortal, and now rule their world as the Hindu gods. For books, I want to reread Martian Timeslip by Philip K. Dick, originally published in 1964. On Mars, local bigwigs compete with Earthbound interlopers to buy up land before the UN develops it and its value skyrockets. But an autistic boy who seems to have the ability to see the future may give one side an advantage. I like Philip K. Dick, and it's about time that I reread this classic novel by him. Last but not least, I will be reading Report on Probability A by Brian W. Aldiss, originally published in 1966. This has been called a brilliant, disturbing, and groundbreaking anti-novel about an unending change of surveillance that crosses countless dimensions. A husband and his wife are being observed from at least 3 vantage points as they go about their mundane home lives. The 3 observers must file a report with his superior in another continuum, but the watchers are themselves being observed by others who are, in turn, being watched across vast and infinite dimensional planes. I have been told that this is just a wild, trippy novel, so why not read it? Okay, those are my plans for Rocket Summer 2025. I hope a lot of people join us and read some great classic science fiction. Again, you don't have to follow the weekly prompts if you don't want to. Just read some classic science fiction. Thank you for watching and keep on reading.